Just arrived to my home for the next few days. As you can see, soaked in sweat. I don't even know how hot it is. Go to the grocery store, whatever's nearby, and then I'm gonna do a proper sit down, set up the digital camera, and explain what I'm doing here in Hudson and why I spent a month's worth of rent for just 3 nights and 4 days. Yeah, we'll get back to that. This is my view. Isn't that so cute? And I'm at this little, just being here. We are coming up on the end of day 1, and today was really about getting settled. So I unpacked everything and hung everything up. I went grocery shopping, also picked up dinner. Grocery shopping was very, very light because it was very, very expensive. $54 for 4 things. I'm not even exaggerating. And I picked up some tacos. I had birria tacos earlier for lunch, and I'm about to eat the steak ones that I bought for dinner. I did a lot of my part-time job work. I did about 2 hours of that. I recorded, I think, 3 videos, short form videos, and I scheduled in detail for tomorrow. So in the calendar, going to attempt to stick to it as well as I can. Also wrote out everything that I want done for the day, and it's a very, 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 very long list. But that's really what today was, so that ideally tomorrow I can just focus on business retreat for 2 full days, and then Saturday is a half day because I would be leaving by 11. So have a lot of stuff focused on then, and then the second half of the day will be focused on kind of reintegrating back into real life. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about today, but I'm feeling pretty great. My initial goal was to be in bed by 9 and have some type of wind down to transition myself out. It's already 9 and I'm about to eat. So I think today will be a exception, and I'm probably gonna get to bed at 10 or 11 because I really think it's valuable if I finish this tangential stuff and then just tomorrow just start fully head on focusing on the things I need to do. Something that I do whenever I stay, especially at a hotel, is I always put the chairs against the front door, but I took extra measures. And I'm gonna show you. So those are the doors. I think it's locked right now, but I'm not for sure. But literally, if I open that door, the business is right there. This is the closet laundry room, and it's a window, a mirror when you open it. And I was I don't like that that's right there, so I put a chair just in case. This bed is huge. It's a big bed. So if someone is coming in, from there, I don't know which side I'm gonna end up on in the night. So I have 2 safety precautions on both sides. On this side, we have the pepper spray. This side, I have a knife. So if anyone comes through, I've got an alarm number 1, alarm number 2, protection 1, protection 2, and then the goddamn floors. Ignore my socks. That's just creaky as fuck. So, I've decided I'm also gonna keep that light on tonight. Because I don't want to I just need 1 night. And maybe tomorrow we'll expand. I have slept in creepier hotels, space-wise. So this isn't the worst. But it's the whole it being connected to business that's I'm not liking. But I'm sure it'll be fun. So I will see me in the morning.
I am monumentally behind on my schedule today. I didn't wake up at 5 a.m. I woke up at like 8 and just finished breakfast and it's 10. So there's a lot of things that I was supposed to have done by now, but that's okay. I'm letting things go as they are. But I wanted to chat a little bit because I have been talking a lot with people, and I've seen it so much this year that when I say what I want and when I write it down, it appears. When I tell you I am the furthest from woo-woo, like at least who I used to be like, I absolutely don't believe in that stuff. Like, I'm not that religious, like universe, God, whatever. I'd be like, whatever, okay. But this year has been something different, because literally any time I've been like, oh my gosh, I need this much amount of money left to make rent this month. I kid you not, the number of times that a text in a couple hours, if not a couple minutes. One time it was like, I look at my phone, I had a text for that exact amount, being like, hey, I have a gig. Can you do this? And it's the exact amount that I needed. That has happened so much. And it's happened in so many other ways. Like the moment I'm like, oh my goodness, I need this thing, or I need this help, it appears in some form. So today, I have on my list, my long list of things to do in the next few days, make a contract and like sit and look and analyze my goals and like figure out where I'm at right now, where we're going, yada, yada, yada. That's like the big overarching thing. And then the contract is just one thing within that. Tell me why. I just finished eating breakfast and I do my daily email reads, like through everything. Tell me why this popped into my email. By someone named Danae, who I found, I think, on LinkedIn. And she, this had sent yesterday, but I didn't read my emails yesterday. So I'm reading this now, and it says, and every year around this time, I do something I call a life date with myself. It's exactly what it sounds like. I pull up the goals I set back in January. I look at where I actually am right now and assess. It's not a glamorous ritual. It's me and zero patience for my own excuses. Listen, Hannah, if you don't write your progress down, you will not get where you want to go, yada, 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 yada. So that's my encouragement for you today, wherever you're reading this from. Pull up your January goals, sit with where you actually are, let it be uncomfortable for 5 minutes, and then decide what you're going to do about it. That's literally why I'm here. And this email sent yesterday, the day I arrived here, to do exactly that. Isn't that wild? On top of that, I'm subscribed to Freelancers Union, and they sent an email as well. They sent this one a few days ago, but again, I've been so busy I haven't checked my email, so I'm reading it just today, and the headline is, "A good contract is your own declaration of independence." And I click into it, and it's like, if you need help along the way, we have a contract creator. Tell me why I pull it up, and it's literally like, you fill in the information, your name, the client, the scope, the cost, all of that stuff, and then it generates a contract for you. That's literally what I was looking for. So, isn't that magical? Isn't that beautiful? And okay, another email, because I haven't caught up, from Danae. The headline is, "Why Your Family Doesn't Get It and Never Will." I haven't opened it and read it yet, but I literally just journaled about how no one really understands and is confused about what I'm doing here and why I'm doing this and why I want to be alone and figure this out and pay it as much as I did to be here. And part of those people includes my family. And so I think that that's really funny. And there's also another one from the freelance photographer, and it's a question worth asking yourself today. One of the questions that I'm reading right now is, it says, will your business look any different 3 or 6 months from now if nothing changes? The answer is no. This may be the season to do something different. And I'm here right now doing that. Isn't that wild? Just like how, I don't know. I think it's just beautiful how that works. And looks like I just got an inquiry come in for a photo gig, but which is also just ridiculous in and of itself. It makes you feel as if you're on the right path. I don't think there is a right or wrong path, but I do feel that you can be in alignment with who you are and what you're meant to do if you believe in that, or even if you don't believe in that, being aligned with what your hopes and dreams are right now and seeing signals in like little light posts and signs across the way, I think is really beautiful. And I read so much different literature on different ideas and perspectives and philosophies about that concept. But the one that resonates the most for me is this idea that it's your future self sending little signals and guiding you to the person that they are and who you're going to be. And they're sending you all these little signals and helps and like signs and angels and all that stuff to you so that you'll get to that point. And I think that's what I align with the most, with the thinking that just feels more, I don't know, feels more me versus like maybe something more religious or spiritual, but whatever it is for you is whatever it is for you. But I just want to share that because I thought that was really beautiful. So I'm excited to be here, and it feels really good, and I'm very happy. It is currently 12:30. I feel like I've gotten so much done and nothing at the same time. A lot of it was just because I'd hoped to be up earlier. But what I've been working on the past few hours, I had some stuff for my part-time job, so I did about an hour, maybe 2 hours of that, plus meetings included in that. Then I went through all my emails, responded to some inquiries, did my budget for last month, and also did my Q2 reflection. So I have like a whole Notion universe. So I did reflections on that. Like very disheartening, low key, because I didn't get a lot done. And it's frustrating. I'm trying to give myself grace, but it is frustrating because I spend all of December of the year before like breaking down what I have to do every single month, and literally all I have to do on my side is schedule it out each week. But I just didn't do that this quarter, or in Q2, quarter two. So April, May, June, just didn't do that, and like just kept pushing things off to each month until you get to June. And if you look at the list, it was massive. There was no way that was happening, even if I dedicated a day each day of the month. And June was just a lot of like, my brother was in town for 2 weeks. I was with family for a little bit. There was a lot going on in June. So June was kind of like nothing was going to happen in terms of productivity. The one bright spot is that I made my freelance goal for this quarter. Significant increase from the first 3 months of the year, primarily because I have the part-time job. Like that is a huge fuel of it, probably like a third of that chunk, but the rest is freelance. So that was like fun and nice to see and be able to check off. But yeah, there was a lot. So if you look at the July list, massive. And I split it into like my work monthly breakdowns, quarterly breakdowns, and then my personal quarterly and monthly breakdowns. The personal is not that long, but the business one, that thing is long, and that's why we're here. So by the end of this week, or these 3 days left, that should all be done, is the hope and the intention. So now I'm about to tackle like something that I know is gonna take so much brain power. And I literally was like, ugh, I don't want to do that. And I was trying to skip it, but I was like, the point of being here is to do the things that I didn't want to do and kept pushing off. And that is go through and update my project expenses, which I have not done since February. And essentially what a project expense is I'm keeping track of, even like with gigs, like anything that I have to spend money on, how much did I get paid for it, and how much did it cost me to actually see if I'm making anything, right? Because in the moment I could be like, yeah, you know, I made $150 off this gig. Okay, cool, but you had to order a battery flash and you had to take a car there. So really I made $25 from that. So trying to be more transparent and understanding like what has more return for me and my time. So I need to do that. And then the one that I'm like the most about is my like tax stuff. So like keeping track of all of my expenses, everything that I spend, and what category falls into. So is it transportation? Is it software? Is it food? Is it this trip, which is a business expense? Like all of that stuff. Supplies, photo equipment, film, batteries. I need to update that. So that's gonna be a lot of like combing through my credit card statements, aligning them with the calendar. Thankfully I'm a detailed Google Calendar girl, so just aligning things. Like I'm gonna start with the last day that I updated and just go through each day and be like, oh yes, I had a gig this day, let's find all the costs and stuff. And then go through everything. So that's gonna take probably like 2 hours. It's like, I think now 12:45-ish. So I think I'm gonna do that. And then we're gonna get into goal writing and mapping out. So that I can like redo my visioning and like strategies and stuff, so that will be the frame foundation for everything else. I wanted to get this done first because I think having numbers and insight into like the data and understanding the cold hard realities of like if I was making money, yada yada yada, is important to help then inform and shape like the vision plan stuff. So there's the data side of it, which I'm doing now, and then there's like the emotional, thoughtful, intentional philosophy behind that I'm gonna do with like more journaling, prompting stuff later. I think we're gonna switch settings. So I was over here. That's what I really like about this space is there's so many places to lounge and work. So we're gonna move into the little nook area for this one because I want to be comfortable, and I also want to be able to write in my little graph notes sheet different numbers and stuff and go from there. Oh my gosh, y'all, so I have been like locked in. It's been 2 hours. I have a good amount of stuff done, about to move on to like the second portion of what I talked about earlier. But tell me why I decided to check on my email to take a break. And someone reached out for a possible opportunity, and I responded back like, yeah, I'm available then. It's like a run club photography image. The budget? To think that the like silly little videos I posted of me running with my camera and taking images potentially could secure this. So the way I dropped everything, and they're in talks with other photographers. So I'm about to make like a portfolio on Canva to send them of like all my running stuff in line with their creative brief, to really hope that I can be the one that's selected for this. Yeah. Wow. And it's really, really cool because like the number of opportunities that I've gotten from having just showed up one day with my camera to Run Club and like doing photos for free because I just wanted to test out some motion techniques. Those images I remember that day that I went ended up getting published, and that has led to more and more stuff. It led to my Run Club continuing to bring me on, and as they've been getting bigger, they've been getting budget, and I'm like their number one person that they reach out to for different opportunities. And then like that's how I've been able to connect with On, and they've been reaching out to me independently, and now potentially this, even just to have the email and to be recognized for this, like it just stresses the importance of passion projects. Like I love running, and it just was a natural connection to also make images with running communities and movement, and just doing that for fun, and it leading to this. That's pretty awesome. So I'm gonna go sit my ass down and put together this little portfolio and send that off and then log back in. But I like ran to the camera. I was like, I have to tell them. I have to. Wow. See how it's absorbed the sauce? Look at that. Got a quick outfit change. I was not going to be spilling pasta on my white fit. And I feel like this fit, my mom gave it to me. I'm pretty sure it's a Shein or Temu piece. I'm not questioning it, but the essence of it and what it is a dirya, or it's called Miu Miu. I mean, it's called different things in different languages, but this for me represents like femininity, elegance. Every woman I grew up around, my babysitters, my mom, they all wore dresses like this around the house. And I just thought it was always beautiful. I remember begging to have one, and my babysitter got one for me from Somalia. Recently, my friend got one for me from Ethiopia, as well as my mom gifted me this, and then she also gifted me some of her old ones. So I felt like this was a great transition into more of the ideating and thinking and imagining part of the day. I still have to wrap up some like data stuff. So I feel like this just gonna get me into that headspace that I want to be in. That's why I brought different outfits for different moments, for different headspaces, and I feel like they all really work well in this space. We're gonna pretend that nobody saw that. So what I'm working on now is I read this book by Corinne Lowe called On Having It All, or Having It All. And it was a really good book. I really, really enjoyed it. I've been terrible at explaining it to people, but essentially is an economist's or economist's POV and data analysis of how society and culture has pushed this idea that women should have it all, but that is literally not possible with where we are now in our society versus like historically maybe could have been possible. And she talks a lot about finding your utility function and like understanding how everything that you do, whether it's your job, your relationships, how you spend your time, if you have kids, yada yada, like how you have to specifically figure out what that is for yourself and measure anything that you do against this utility function and see if it provides value, and if it doesn't, then like don't do it. Or she empowers you to make decisions off of that. I really enjoyed it. She had some prompts in it, and I screenshotted all the prompts because I was reading on my phone through my Libby app, and I have it on my list to write down some of these prompts. I think it'll be a good anchor to grounding myself and like reimagining the 5-year plan and yearly plan that I made for myself 2.5 years ago. I'm at a different point now. I want different things, and so I think this will be a really great way for me to think about that and rethink about that. And that's what we're gonna do right now. And then that will inform how I build out and rebuild out my Notion universe, how I rebuild out like my daily routine, what I want to accomplish each month, what I want my day-to-day life to look like, and so on and so forth. The type of jobs I say yes to, how I position myself differently to attract more jobs that I want to do, the projects I want to do, the relationships that I have with the people in my life. This is a good grounding, foundational, and intentional moment to kind of build off of. So I meant to do this in the morning to start the day off, but I did things flip-flop / slept in. So we're gonna get this going. I still do have some like data stuff to do, but I decided to push that off just because it's already 5, and I want to at least have this flushed out and give myself some time to think through that while it's also still light out, so I can get some like nice light and embrace the energy of the room that is really, really beautiful when it's well lit. So we're gonna work on the bed. I haven't worked on the bed yet, so I'm excited. What I have on the bed, I have my little notebook. I'm a big fan of like line drawings. When I get a tattoo, it's definitely gonna be lines. As you can see, like I love figures. My ring, that's a face, my necklace. Got these in Mexico City. So I have my line notebook, and then I have just like a larger sheet if I wanna make some little like maps. Some index cards because I'm probably gonna write out a bunch of different things after I ideate on the big page and move them around and flip them around. And then all my little crafts in the event that they are useful. So, let's begin. photos. It's currently 1 a.m. I felt productive, but also didn't feel productive. I spent the last, I don't know if it was a good use of my time, but I spent the last 4 hours cleaning up my Instagram highlights, which my personal assistant recommended, because I used to just have a bunch of like 10 miscellaneous tabs and like 5 BTS, which was just me putting a compilation of like my favorite aesthetic photos and video clips that I would post on my story. And it didn't even occur to me to make it more intentional or that people actually look at those, but she recommended that. So I went through and it took forever. I tried to do my website and I got really overwhelmed. Really overwhelmed. It's gonna need like a complete overhaul and like a lot more thinking behind it. So I did update my bio, but I think I really need to spend more time thinking about what I want to do and what's the type of work I want to do and what does that look like, so that I can then position the website to look that way. I also did the big bulk of like the journaling earlier today. Got about like 70% of the things that I wanted to do today done. I think that's a pretty good place to be. So I'm gonna eat a little bit more. And I will see you in the morning. Good morning. It is currently 9:19. I tried to wake up at 5. I really tried. I really tried. I was like, no. So I slept till 8, journaled, and then got ready. I have a work meeting for my part-time job. I'm trying to be better about not going straight to my laptop, because something about me is once I have my head down and I start something, like I look up and I'm like, whoa, it's 3 p.m. already. That's what happened yesterday. So I tend to forget to eat. So I didn't want to do that, but unfortunately that's the scenario that we're placed in this morning. I am a little anxious about the day because I have so much that I want to do. I didn't feel like I did much yesterday. So I wanted to actually take the time to like read the list of things I did do, because I do feel like I did a lot. I cleaned up my Instagram highlight, planned out potential streams of income. I reviewed what my creative strategist made for me and put it all on a doc, and I merged it with the doc of our plan with my personal assistant and the tasks that she needed me to complete this week and things to think about this week. So I have it all in one space. I made a video about the importance of outsourcing, or the importance I'm realizing of outsourcing, and not even outsourcing, but just asking for help, which is something I struggle with. Worked on my having it all questions. I also made a video for that too. So the prompts and stuff, which was really helpful actually. I made a list of every single gig I've had this year, who it was, what it was, how many hours, what was the rate, who was my contact, how much did I get paid, when did I get paid, how did I get paid, and any notes. So I did get a lot done. There was like 4 things I didn't get done. But that is a lot, and I think part of me is like, I feel like I didn't do much. So today is really where it's gonna like come together, I hope. So we'll see how things go in the next few hours. But I'm really excited. I don't know, I'm feeling like, but I just want to make sure that I have what I need to get done by the time I leave here. I think a part of me is anxious of like, you have to make it worth it because of the money that you spent, which is so true. But it's gonna start with me stopping yapping and getting to. I want to show y'all what I made for breakfast. Okay, it looks unappetizing. I don't know if you can even. 1 second. Let me give you some more lights. Look at that. What this is 2 eggs, some of the sun-dried tomatoes, and the sardines that were left over from yesterday. This is actually my first time having sardines. The only reason I saw it and I was like, oh, this looks cool. But I got it because Tony Bravo, who is one of my favorite people to watch on YouTube, she's like a sardine lover. If you follow her, you know. So I was like, wait, let me try these. I feel like this is a good little vibe to try sardines for the first time. I really like it. It just tastes like both what I expected and what I didn't expect. Anyway, so I had half of that left over. And yeah, and then the 2 eggs. I wanted something that like yesterday was more of a hands-on eating. I needed my hands, so I couldn't work at the same time, but I wanted something that would let me dive in and work at the same time. Also, remember how I spent like $54 on like 5 or 6 of those items? I have made that shit stretch. It has now paid itself off, so I feel much better. I went straight into doing my social media content calendar, which I'm actually very excited about. Basically, I'm making like a massive sheet of like a social media guide of what are each of the platforms, what are the functions of each of the platforms, who are the audiences historically and ideally, and what are the goals. And with this, I'm hoping to like have a better understanding of why I'm on different platforms. Are they necessary? How are they a little different from each, but also sustainable, and that like what I make for one can translate into other ways for the other ones. And then once I have a better understanding of all of that, then I'm gonna think through like the flow and the actual calendar, so that it's not overwhelming and it's manageable. And then from there, I can understand how much time I need to dedicate each day, or like maybe have a dedicated 2 days a week where I'm just working on editing stuff or putting things out, whatever the case is. I want to make sure that I'm thinking about sustainability and like what is the true value of each of those things, what is worth my time, what is potentially worth having someone else do for me, or like maybe I hire an editor who does and cuts the short form content for me and repurposes them in different ways. I don't know yet, but I think this will help me really understand that. So let's get into it. Alright, it is 7:30. I have some updates. I spent, I think it was 10 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. doing the social media stuff. I did a whole, looked at the hard drives that I had, looked at what was in each of them, the space, storage, yada yada, and then on another page I rewrote what I want them to be. I've also just come to terms with like, I'm not gonna have everything done, but what are the things I can do today and tomorrow morning to set myself up so that I have clearer direction, clearer positioning, clearer items that are more bite-sized pieces instead of like this looming thing that I have to do. And that's why a lot of the stuff that I've done the past 2 days takes so much brain work and time, but it theoretically, it'll make everything else a little easier. So that's running. I also I finished my like business expenses, updated all of those. I messaged some people about their recommendations for financial accounting people so I can have some help on that. I also just finished doing a gear wish list. I just had like bullet points list on a notes app, but I organized them by high priority, medium priority, low priority, and just like general wish list. So that is really helpful for me to understand like why do I want something and what should I be focusing on. I scheduled my week out. I have structure now to my week on what days I do things, and I scheduled them out for this upcoming week. I mean, it's so funny because when you look at the list, it's just 3 things that are gotten done, but it feels like a lot of it was done. So, you probably want an update? I've been on my phone. I know. I just like, I sat down ready to do the thing, and my eyes just couldn't focus. And I was like, I need to do something else. So I allowed my brain to just chill. So I want to at least do one more thing. Ideally, it would be the strategy deck. Or, you know what we're gonna do actually? We're gonna do studio roots. Because my brain has no capacity for the strategy deck. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow morning. But studio roots, it's gonna be a lot of like image searching. Like I get to like have fun and look at stuff and think more creatively instead of like words and strategy, which I did so much of earlier today. And right now my brain just can't have it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay. I'll be back.
Mark my words, my DJ era is coming. I don't know what I'm listening to. It's like a random SoundCloud mix. I'm done for the day. It's 10 p.m. It's the earliest I'll have gone to bed since being here. I'm exhausted. Today calculations for how much I've worked. So, first day I got here, it was 5 hours and 45 minutes of working. Yesterday was 13 hours and 45 minutes. And today is 12 hours and 45 minutes. Actually more than that, I didn't include my part-time job. So also about 13 hours, a little over 13 hours. My hands are like so tight and cramped. And my eyes are just like, I've had enough of looking at screens. Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like I got much done even though I worked for so long. It's probably gonna take like a couple days or if not weeks of being like, this was worth it. I'm in my head about whether this was worth it. I do feel like it was for so many reasons, but I'm really bad at not tying my metric of success to to-do lists. I'm working on that. I've been working on that for a couple years and have gotten really, really good. But I did have high expectations coming into this weekend. As someone who already in general has high standards and expectations of themselves. So a part of me is like, I didn't check off as many things as I would have liked. But the other part of me is recognizing like this was only a couple days. I also like had a lot going on leading up to this, so I wasn't really able to sit and be realistic about what I could get done. But I'm proud of myself for having like still structured things the way that I did. And I know, especially from earlier today and reflecting, like I know that the time that I put into the bigger stuff is going to really set me up foundationally. I'm gonna go to bed. I'll see you tomorrow. For breakfast today, we have 2 boiled eggs. We are going to grind, and let me put this down and then I'll share what I have to do. It is last day, final day. It's currently 8 a.m. I did my journal, I got ready. I packed a lot last night, so that's basically done. The hard drive transferred last night, so thankfully that worked. I was worried like the laptop would go to sleep and it wouldn't be done and I would have to eject it mid-transfer, which would have sucked. I'm gonna do my part-time job for 30 minutes. And then I'm going to do the strategy and vision document deck with my goals, objectives, and metrics for the rest of the year. So something more tangible in terms of what I expect to hit numbers-wise, to hit client-wise, to hit the type of work-wise, to hit how many project-wise I've worked on, what I've been working on for the rest of the year. 3 videos. I'm gonna film and photograph the publications that I was in. And then my final thing is, I have my detailed breakdown of how I'm gonna do my schedules day by day, and like I have like a weekly outline so that every Sunday I can schedule out the prior week. One thing I didn't take into account is running, eating, and working out, unsurprisingly. So I have it to like wake up at 6 a.m. and work. So I need to build that stuff in and have like some quiet time in the mornings. So I'm gonna do that. And then that's it. From there, I'm gonna go to the train station. Like I said, I'm probably gonna work on the blog post on the train. That's gonna go out this week. Okay, let's get started. Let's do this. Getting things going. That was too long. Oh my gosh. 30 minutes? Jesus Christ. Can test it out too. Let's see. How's that look? We did an outfit change. I recorded one of them and now I'm gonna do the same. I think I'm just gonna stay in the same spot and do it for 2 more times. And yes, I'm changing shirts and like fixing my hair on for each option. Just so it looks like I'm wearing different stuff. But if you see this, just know it was curated. All right, we are now on the final video. This is the new shirt. Yes, I know I wore this on my day 1 and it was full of sweat, but this is just for a few minutes, okay? Just finished recording the video, but that is a wrap. We did it. I have 30 minutes until I have to go to the train station, or I have to vacate the space because checkout is at 11. And so I'm just gonna wrap everything up, clean things up. That is everything. I did it.
I wasn't able to get to the strategy deck, and that is entirely okay. I'm going to do that on the train and then also blog on the train. Very proud of this week. I am proud even of just having knocked those videos out, because that's one less thing to do later, and I love the environment and space of here, so I think it works really well. But I feel really, really good. I'm really, really excited to check back in with myself in a month, 2 months, end of the year, to see how things go. I think I'm at a much better space, built out a lot more systems. I now have a better idea of all the things that I need to do because I have the foundations of stuff done. I definitely have a better idea of the things that I want to outsource, because now that I have a creative strategist and a personal assistant that I've worked with and am working with, I see the value in investing in other people to help you out, because why do we got to do it all ourselves? It's funny, I've been seeing some videos of business folks and freelancers on TikTok come up, and they're using like Claude, ChatGPT, AI to help them out. And I know for sure a lot of what I ended up doing probably could have been done honestly in like 5 hours. If I had chose to use those systems. And I don't know, I'm not here to pass judgment on small business and freelancers who are using AI systems to help themselves out. I think that's smart. Having now had a month and a half, 2 months of experience working at the small business, they're doing a lot. It's a lot to manage. I mean, even just myself, like having to be all the things is a lot of work. And it's very stressful and unmanageable. So I think it's amazing that there are systems out there that can help you and that automate things for you. I do want to be intentional about keeping the ideating and thinking through on a human level as part of my individual practice. There are probably going to be systems and workflows I put into place that use AI. I mean, they already have been, right? Like editing and applying masks, or an edit that you did for a prior photo and applying it to the next photo, that uses AI and automation. So I'm not naive to suggest that it hasn't already been built into systems that I already have been using for years before AI entered the mainstream discourse. My absolute like black and white line is generation. I had to do that for my last job. That's just not for me. I think the environmental impacts with that just doesn't make sense to me. I also don't believe in these new rollouts that are coming out where they're letting AI edit your images for you, like it understands how you edit. Because for me, like part of that process is in the edit. I don't know why you'd want to give that off to someone else. But I mean, at the end of the day though, the same could be said, I guess, for people who outsource editing for their videos, and they're like, but I would rather, if I'm going to outsource, I would rather outsource to a human. That's just me, in terms of like, for understanding the context of the economic struggles and downturn that we're in right now, and people needing jobs and people needing work. If I have the means, I'm going to choose a human. And in this ideating and strategy that I did for myself, that again probably could have been done in 5 hours if I used Claude, I prefer to have sat there and thought through things. Who I am as a person is I want to understand context and the back end of everything, so then I can make informed decisions based on my specific preferences on what I want to use from there forward. So I have so many Google Sheets of like where I manually input how much I made and like my receipts and like upload my receipts and everything. And I intentionally made that decision at the beginning of this year because I wanted to see what that process was and understand it, and really understand what I hate doing, what I don't need to be doing, and how much time it takes. Because then I can justify in my head, yes, I'll pay $50 a month for this service that does all my receipts and taxes, or yes, I'll pay for this, or I'll pay for someone to do this for me. Now I'm at the point 6 months later from having made that decision, 7 months later, where I'm like, I need that off my plate because that thing takes too much time. I had the time earlier in the year. I don't have the time anymore. I could also be using this time for something else. I know that definitively now, so I understand my decision to now invest in workflows and systems and softwares that do stuff for me in those regards, right? So that's just me. That's how I work. That's how I want to always bring into my practice. It also just goes into my larger like divesting, and that's a whole other thing where like earlier this year I had a solo show and I could have bought frames. I needed a lot of frames and I could have bought frames through Amazon, but I've divested from Amazon. And so I'd spent so much time going on Facebook Marketplace, asking friends, repainting frames, going to thrift stores and finding frames. And they were imperfect. There were paint chips on them. It took a really long time. But that to me meant something. That's part of my practice and intentionality versus putting money in the hands of Amazon. I was able to put money directly into people from Facebook Marketplace, and from down to the paint to like the prints, for prints, instead of going with CVS or FedEx or something large scale, I went to a local print shop and was able to put $1,000 in directly into his hands. So that's just how I want to work. That's the economy and systems that I want to build, the world that I want to live in. That's my decision. I am trying to be better at not passing judgments on other people for their decisions, because now I have way more empathy, having experienced this job full time, as well as being at a part-time small business store. I understand, I get it. I have empathy now. I still will judge though for image generation and calling that art and using that as a system of relying on, even with image generation. Okay, last thing on my rant, and I'm gonna end this. Like, my thing with that, because I had to use it a lot for my last job, and it's hugely part of why I left, because it became a requirement. And I was like, this is not worth my time. And I just really don't feel comfortable doing this. If you don't have internet access, it doesn't work. 1. 2, I remember starting my job, my last corporate job, I didn't know Photoshop. I didn't understand Photoshop. A lot of what I learned was like, they already have a lot of things automated. So like the content aware fill, or not the content aware fill, but like the expanding the border of stuff, yada, yada. So I didn't understand how to do that manually in the way that it used to be done. You may think, oh, that's fine if it does work for you. No, because there were scenarios, we had a retoucher, dedicated retoucher, but there were scenarios when either she wasn't available or eventually she got let go, that I didn't know how to do the basic foundational stuff that ended up becoming a requirement on certain projects that like the AI couldn't do. So I spent so many hours watching tutorials to do very, very basic foundational knowledge of Photoshop stuff, because I came into working in Photoshop when all of these systems were integrated. So I was just able to just use them and rely on them. So that backfired on me. So my thing, that's why I really, really, again, believe in like understanding the foundation of something, understanding the context of how something works, so that you always have that to fall on. Same thing too, when I was working at Hearst Magazines, there were photographers who would come on set and have no idea how any of the lighting worked. And to me, I was shocked. I genuinely was shocked, because I was like, what if your digital assistant, or your lighting assistant called out sick today and you don't know how to work the lights? You're screwed. I think it's important to understand how things work so that you always have yourself to fall back on, even if it's just basic knowledge. And then like you also know what's valuable and what's worth the price tag for things that you outsource. That's just me. It's also, I understand it's impossible to learn everything, right? Because in that way, someone could say, oh, well, you should learn how to code instead of relying on Squarespace, because what if Squarespace goes down, but you don't know how to code? There are limitations and bounds, okay? Use common sense here. It's the principle of things that I'm talking about. And those are the stuff that I just think about and I've been thinking about. But yeah, I could have used, so long story short, I could have used Claude. I could have used all the things. I just would prefer to do it myself. And I really valued the time that I spent with myself to really understand why I want to do things and what I want to do, so that I can justify every decision that I make, instead of being like, I don't know, that's what the prompt spit out for me, so I'm just going to do that. Now I know why. So yeah, that is my little toe dip into the conversation of AI. And I hope this week encouraged you to take time for yourself and put yourself in a different environment, so that you can really understand what you want to do with your life, whether you're running a freelance business, whether you just are like in a different spot in your life and you're trying to reimagine a different world for yourself. Take the time to do that. Be selfish. It doesn't have to be, again, a month's worth of rent to do that. It can literally just be a tiny little bedroom that you rent that is down the street from you, or that is at the hotel that is 30 minutes away from you. Or it could be a co-working space that you just go to for the day, or a cafe that you go to for the week, or a library room that you reserve for a few days or something to get yourself together. I just think that there's power in moving yourself in a different environment and being in a different space, because at least for me, that has proven to allow me to release myself to the patterns that I connect to and the things that I usually do in spaces that I have memory in, and allows me to dream and think differently when you're in a new space. So, that's kind of like why you travel, or why I travel. Because when you're in a different environment, you see life differently and get different perspectives and understand yourself differently. So I'm going to stop yapping now, but I hope you have a great day, and we'll see if I make more videos on this camera. That was kind of fun. And that was easier than I thought it would be. And I think this space lends myself more to yap. I'm a yapper. Obviously, I'm long-winded. I've been trying to say goodbye for 13 minutes. It is in my blood, okay? My people, we say goodbye at a party. We don't actually mean it. We're not leaving for another 3 hours.
sorry, that's how I was raised, that's how I grew up, and I am a long-winded, comprehensive girl. But I think the space lends me much better than short form video, because I'd be yapping for 20 minutes and then take forever to edit down. I'm not good at that. So maybe I'll just yap on here a little more. I have a lot of thoughts to share, obviously. We'll see. I don't want to make too many promises and not show up for myself. But this has been lovely. This has been great. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And thank you always for being here.